right back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video, and I'm going to jump right into the point. I believe we are currently in the best format to date. There's no doubt about that, and that is probably my opinion. Yeah, but let me give you a few reasons why that is. Some say Set 2 was probably the best format of the game, but we also had like 20 cards to play back then. What makes this different in this current format is the ability to utilize a lot of different leaders, a ton of different leaders, even your favorite leader, and have answers for many different things in the game and not be degenerate about it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, each time that we have more and more cards entered into the game gets a little more or that much skill intensive, which is another plus. And finally, Yamcha in the top 16 yet again. That should be enough reason to enjoy this format. But it's been a minute since the last time in Vegas, but this kind of leads me to the top cut. Really quick breakdown, and just as a heads up, this was this last weekend, or literally this past weekend. If you're watching this on Sunday, this weekend, and if you're watching this future, I don't know what to tell you, but this had actually about 110 people, 108, I'm not sure. This is a little bit wrong. Also, the top 16 down here is a little inaccurate as well because it has a double Janemba in it. Without the Yamcha, just a little bit of disrespect. I don't know what the Dirt City Gym is doing there, or DBS Dex, whoever is doing it, shout out to you guys. I really do appreciate everything that you guys do, but that may be a slap to the face in Yamcha's. But that might be a slap to the face to Yamcha. Anyway, we have a very diverse top 16 with 11 leaders in the cut, with a good amount of that represented by Toa. That is really no surprise there. She kind of gets around a lot of the new counterplays introduced in Set 7. She has a lot of anti-meta tools in the black cards that she does play, and her backside pretty much makes her hard to kill. In response to that, we do have a couple of OG Senrons in the top cut, including Hernandez's second place Ramperon, which I think KO Shin is probably a better name for it. Kind of like shorthand for Dragon God, but if you're being literal, it's God, but whatever. The other was a Victory Strike variant, utilizing the Hidden Mastery, which makes sense because 3 Victory Strike coming out of your face is no joke. Some say the representation of Toa getting higher and higher in top cut, and as well as just representation overall. Shenron Gogeta is not the best pick, but if we're looking at the field as a whole, Shenron makes most counterplays ineffective, along with now having another win con with almost no interaction, which is Kaioken. Yes, you can play Champa the Trickster. Yes, you can get around the first couple swings, but I mean, if you combined Kaioken with Shenron, literally wow. When you combine Gogeta 7, which rips your hand into 3 cards and shuffles it, and then Kaioken right after, because you can't do that with 2 world pieces. Now what do? You can Champa one of them, yes, that's fine, but they can just pass turn, and if they're at 3 life, you have no hand. Or if they're at I would say if they're at 5 life or more, you basically have no hand. Even if they take 1, they now know if they're safe for the next turn or not. You're gonna have to top deck something crazy. Alright, moving on, we're looking towards the 2 Janembas. Again, with Toa running around, it's been said it's not really a good pick, Russell. But really, again, in the counterplay red leader, I'm going to wait until my boss boy ends the game in this kind of format. Janemba will sit there just menacingly, watching your deck dwindle down faster and faster. And yes, some of the counterplays will kill off the Janembas. Yes, that's fine. That's where Reality Bender Janemba comes in, and that's where just a good player comes in. A good pilot will recognize that and just and play around it. Again, another choice to top, but probably not win the entire event. I'm going to make a video on it soon, but I would like to remind everyone that we literally have a direct answer, or at least something to help to both Janemba and Shenron in Set 7 in every single color. Although it's not perfect, it is at least something. Anyway, this leads me on to the one-ofs of the top 16, which gets really interesting. We have Kid Goku, a pick that's slowly getting out of everyone's choice due to the introduction of Unexpected Turn, the interest of red leaders, the Anniversary Box Kai that disallows any 2 costs from attacking, Toa, and a lot more other stuff. And yet a black-yellow version squeezed into the top cut, I think it's just really a testament of how good the deck is, and of course, the pilot always matters. Speaking of, we have a couple blue leaders, AOA Dende. It really does not have the best ceiling in my opinion. There's only a couple ways to build it. There's only a few things to really do that's really different. It's not as consistent as it was before with Child's Wish as well, but it definitely can have a good focused game plan that can swarm the board and then pretty much just win. And then we have Oop, which is just good. What do you want me to say? I love the deck. And then we have Frieza Prison, which was talked about quite a lot. You know, it was kind of hyped up, Bobbity and Chain Attack, etc, etc. There's no surprise that it did end up in top 16. It's still a great stall deck that kills off a lot of different decks that can't aggro it down or have a win con such as Goju to 7 to end the game when it needs to. And then we have Kamba in the top cut yet again. As I said in the previous video, he is a great choice. But just like how it was with Green Broly, more and more people are figuring out the deck as time goes on, especially after a set release and the time extends from there, and as well as the availability of everything, which means his existence in future events will be kind of questionable. I won't say he won't top again. I'm just saying, you know, people are just gonna figure it out. He is still a damn good deck and really annoying to play against. And of course we have the only yellow Broly leader playing HOM, and I'm not joking. He is literally the only yellow Broly player in the entire event. I don't know if that's wrong, I'm pretty sure it's right, but the only one. Joey made a pretty good video about why HOM is a lot harder to play now, and it's definitely not inaccurate. Broly himself is a fantastic leader, and I think he should be explored a little bit more. Maybe blue-yellow, maybe U6, even though Devin, I'm telling you, it's not that great. Just play Kaba, or maybe even the other blue-yellow stuff. Hint, hint, the SCR. But the denial path, or denial for Path of Greatness, Toa being the anti-meta bad bitch she is, and overall anti-aggro options really make this deck really hard to play. It's very matchup dependent, but damn, I would say kudos to him. And then we have finally a couple Black Sheeps. We have Clash Goku and Yamcha. It's not here, but I will go over it in a second. I'm just very happy they're here. They both feature red-green good stuff deck with the Kaioken. No surprise that it did pretty well. When looking overall in the top 16, it really boils down to black leaders who have a specialty, Janemba punishing players who don't know how to play against it, and then everything else that is in between that is trying to go against the grain to win. I really don't mind it. Before we look into decks, to quickly talk about all the interesting stuff about them, I'm really not going to take that long to talk about them. And then in the video, let's go ahead and take a look at the full breakdown provided by PPG and Scott Slater. We have a lot of others in the other category, featuring Hit, King Vegeta, stuff like that. But we do have Burnhan, which is the Set 7 Gohan leader. We have Zamasu, we have Pan, which is, I'm very, very surprised that Pan did not get into the top cut. And of course, none of those got into top cut. I'm really curious to see why. I'd imagine they all have struggles in different matchups, or couldn't generate advantage over the other opponent they played in order to win. But I personally think that Red Green Pan is still very, very good. And that's just me personally. I played it over the weekend. I went 3-0-1 in a big box turning for our locals. That was a long game in the top cut. Shout out to Arnello. I love you, boy. And it's probably what I'm going to be playing for Orlando. Yes, I'm going to Orlando. More information on that later. And then when we look at the Excel sheet, there's a lot of different Toa, Kaba, and Shenron. You know, we have 16% here. That's a good chunk. It used to be Kid Goku right there, and now he's only at 5%. Yes, there's only 109 people here, maybe 110. There might be one or two decks that are missing here. But I mean, honestly, that is a huge representation. I think as the cards got more and more available, not only for sale, but also as people figured out that, like, hey, damn, Toa is a good pick because it is mostly anti-meta until someone else or some deck comes out of nowhere and starts figuring it out, which I think, you know, Kamba does have a pretty good chance, and I think Pan, maybe some other aggro options that can actually generate a board and generate some hand advantage, which is pretty hard, or can be hard. it's just one of those things to consider. I think can destruction also is something a little bit, something you really need to consider against Toa as well, but that's just something to experiment with. Anyway, plenty of combo, only one in top cut. Again, it's the existence of red leaders and people preparing for that, not only in the red leader category, but just understanding what to do against Kaba. I don't think it's just we're at that point yet. I think he might have a couple more tops in the future events, but it just really depends on who's playing it as well, because a lot of the top players, like ones that you know and recognize, did play a black leader like Toa and Shenron. Again, Gogeta, and then Frieza Prison, Zamasu, 6 of them, that's crazy. 5 Burnhan, 4 King Vegeta. Not surprising, King Vegeta is quite good. I think his awakening effect is what's really holding him back. It's really, really annoying, but I really do like that leader. Hopefully I can get a deck profile out for that later. There's 3 Janemba. Man, 3 Janemba and 2 of them in top cut. Same thing for Dende and 1 of them in top cut. A couple of these could have been Scuffle Time. It could have been AOD, but we know for sure 1 of them is in top with AOD. 3 hit, 3 Clash of Fate Goku. I love my life right now just looking at this. 1 Cheelai, only 1 Hirudegan. It was that blue-red most likely. And then 2 Baby Vegetas. Surprisingly, 2 of the set 7 Broly, which I love. But hey, we'll see what happens in the future. Yamcha with the Kaioken, and then Broly. Literally the only 2 people playing the only decks in there, and I think they know each other. I'm pretty sure. If you are watching this video, guys, definitely let me know in the comments. All right, let's go on to the decks and we'll wrap this up. So we have Jordan Markle, the previous champion, and now the winner of PPG Philly. So, well, PPT, I guess, but this guy, this guy played Skillless Toa. So if you didn't know, he is utilizing the Adventure Begins because it is a black leader. You can use the 4-star balls and then bring out a Skillless if you want, but I think it's really just to keep that van advantage up, and as well as get him from Power Burst as well, which he only plays 2 in the main and 2 in the side. That's pretty interesting. I guess it is not too important, as you need to make room for the Skillless engine. And as well as Dimension Support Trunks into Trunks. Again, if you didn't watch my Demigra video, I really do like the interaction of Time Regulator, putting these guys into drop, warping out with something, putting these guys, and then using Dimension Support Trunks. So using Dimension Support Trunks and then using the auto first, putting them back in the deck, and then bringing it back out. So pretty cool. Otherwise, it's just a regular Toa deck with Time Regulator. Nothing too special about the side. Then we have Eric Hill's Toa, not Skillless. By the way, shout out to Eggman. I know he was talking about that a few weeks ago. I was just saying, do you really want to play Skillless Toa? But I guess he is right about something. Toki Toki Engine looks like a lot of different targets with 4 power bursts, and the regular Toa Mirror stuff with the Force Destruction Mirror. It's really not that bad of a card. Like, if you don't see another chain in order to get into another mirror, or if you overrun with this guy and then pay 5 right after, 6 cards in 2 turns is pretty damn good. Well, 7 cards technically, because this guy warps 3 too. Plus you can give either 1 crit. Like, that's pretty devastating. Introduction of the unexpected turn, the new blocker, and as well as the blocker Revenge. Force Ejection Massane is a really good answer to Shenron Gogeta, and as well as Ramp. Which I don't think we saw too many of those in the representation chart. Oh well. Another Toa deck real quick. So Toa stuff, nothing too crazy in this. Evasive Power in the side for more aggression. Dark Banisher in the main. 2 of these guys. Okay, so switching up to aggro. That's what's happening here. All right, and then Tau for hand destruction. So I'm glad he's aware of that. I would also imagine that it helps to aggro down. This is Russell's. Shout out to him. To aggro down to in the mirror as well, so that's pretty cool. 4 of the Time Regulator Trunks, pretty crazy. I guess he just wants to see 3 cards as consistently as possible. Not to mention that she bursts out 3 every single turn, so literally you are replacing her no draw on the front side in order to keep this going. Pretty cool. Yeah, has the tools to pay the bills. Has the skills to pay the bills. Is that how it goes? I don't know. Unexpected turn, I'm telling you. All right, Anthony Hernandez, Mr. Second Place. Really good game in the last game. I really enjoyed watching that one. But I mean, like I said, the conjunction of Hero Revived into Kaioken is crazy. The ratios look right. one Shadow Mystery. I'm surprised he didn't play an extra Majesty, but I guess he just saw it when he needed to. And then Resting Attendant, I still don't really agree with this card. I feel like it doesn't do too much. I could be wrong. I made a variant of this. I posted it in in the group. Shout out to you guys. I told you, like, someone said it was bad, but I'm like, no, this is like crazy. Like, if you make a good deck, it's wild. Don't even play the Goku Vegeta materials because you're just gonna ramp as fast as possible and as consistently as possible. If you double objection one turn, that's already 2 energy up into the next turn, in which you're probably gonna have to either Whis or objection and then end the game. Kyle's Shenron. So this one was the Victory Strike Shenron, so that's pretty cool. I think the switch to this is probably not incorrect at all. I really do think this is not too bad. Like, you can World Peace out the Path of Greatness and then swap the same turn and then swing basically 4 times for Triple Strike. And if you have a Shenron the previous turn or the same turn to untap 2, you can do that as well, but I guess it just really depends on what it is. I think a turn 5 is probably where you need to be. With 4 Flying Nimbus, Crusher Ball, and then no Kai in the side or main is kind of questionable, but I guess he has Mutaito to make up for it. And then literally 6 counters, so not too bad. I'm surprised also that he has 4 Krillin. Very reminiscent of Super Shenron. 3 more Crusher Ball. You are wild, my boy. More consistency in the side, I think. Nick Brady's Janemba. So 2 of the new Boo. That's from the World Martial Arts booster. And then we have obviously some of the stuff that we need for the, I would guess, hand destruction. More wide open, which is good. Unexpected turn, as always. More removal. More skillless matchup, I would guess. Broly, which there really no green Broly. One in the whole event. Anyway, cool. And yeah, not much to say about Janemba. Andrews, I think this guy is the top 4, which is the blue-yellow one, which is cool. So there's one of the 2 in the top cut, right? And then Chomp of the Trickster was probably a really clutch card. 4 Deadly Poison. Wow, this man is wild, but I can understand it. I'd like it. I'd like this. It's Janemba. Like, I feel like I keep saying that, yeah, but I feel like the counter plays, and as well as all of the black options, especially Toki Toki, and anything else that we're gonna be playing, which he does not play Kai. I'm very surprised. I guess it's just because of the Toki Toki engine. But anyway, that's the thing. I think this is perfect for Janemba. It makes sense, especially with the Bardock Awakened Instincts over the Kai. Don't really need the +5. You just need to see more cards. And then Source of Power in the side, or Ultra Power Tapion. I guess he's really up on that Awakening Jink. Also 2 Unbreakable in the side, none in the main. Whoa, aggression much? Anyway, skillless. Remember what I was saying? He was a yellow build. Here it is. It's pretty cool. 4 Fearless Assault Krillin, and then the regular Kid Goku stuff. Nothing too crazy with Mutaito and 1 crack. Nice. I think the Flying Nimbus is probably there at 4 because of this deck here. Just shutting down any kind of attacks or multiple attacks, especially when they need to combo. So it makes sense. Chomp of the Trickster, very good addition into this. 1 Meteoric Energy Kefla, and then everything else is pretty much standard. Except for the poison. I'm very surprised that he plays this in there, but I guess it makes sense later into the game if it gets there. I love the Betrayal of the Master, by the way. One of my favorite cards. Daniel with the AOD Dende. Like I said, small ceiling, but it is a cool deck. What do you want me to say about it? You have Quick Shift. You have Assembling the Squad for this man right here. Dangerous Journey Bulma at 4 makes sense. No negates in the main, but only it's only in the side. 2 super combos because 4 super combos. I was about to say, and then Bobbity targets over here. All of this makes sense. It looks good, and these are the AOD targets with the Majin Buu as an additional win con. Zach Lowe, the only yellow Broly player. It's High to Mastery, guys. There you go. That's, what do you want me to say? Unexpected turn. Additional negates in the side. Cool. Red Frieza. So, shout out to Isaiah and Nam, I believe is his name. They put out a pretty good breakdown that I've been trying to link to more and more people. I do think this is the way to play it. I don't know about 4, is that all you got? But hey, more power to you. I think you should side at least one more Final Guardian. Yeah, you only play 1, but you know, come on now. Siding out the the finisher, I would imagine that if they don't have inherent removal on their leader, they're going to be playing this into a stall game, so that way they're going to take that 8 life. And then we have saying Nappa, yeah, okay, saying Nappa, which is always going to be kind of finicky with the Zeno, but it will be matchup dependent. Finally, Oob. It's Oob, guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's similar to many builds out there already, with the addition of your wide open, dimension support, or dimension leaper, and etc. Finally, the last 2 decks, I believe, which is Clash Goku. Not the build that I was thinking of, but makes sense. Again, red green good stuff deck with the Vegeta the Cruel, Mach Speed, and even the Unforeseen Force over here, which are pretty hard to get nowadays. I don't know about the KO in the side. I would imagine it's more removal because this deck doesn't really have too much outside of this guy, and as well as Final Showdown. And I think Krillin calling for help is a pretty damn good answer for Kaioken as well. Yes, it can. Well, let me back up here. Not for Kaioken, just Kaioken to not die. Unfortunately, he can't be KO'd if you do go to 1. But if you have 2 these guys in the on the board, you can KO 1 with the block, and then get another, or get a Goku on the board right after that. And if they don't go to 1 life and they forget about that, then you just pop it. Like, it's no big deal. Or on the second one, if you're playing against something like Shenron Gogeta, yes, if they have an at all costs and they didn't take 2 life, they would take a life for this. You can always just pop the all costs instead if you have 2 threats looking at you. But overall, 3 feet and a bunch of red-green stuff, I like it a lot. And again, the Yamcha, this one features, again, that red-green good stuff, playing these guys at 4 because of the burst. It's a little bit easier with the Goku because you see so many cards. For Yamcha, you literally just draw 1 and you burst 2. There's nothing else indicative of that, and there's no beneficial thing for that. You're siding out the chain attack Zeno with 2 more foreseeing hit, which I'm surprised anybody's playing that right now in the current meta with the counter plays. Like, this is the only one that really doesn't matter. But I don't know. Denial and Vegeta the Cruel are just really just finicky, or just concerns. Which he did play 4. Okay, the boy is crazy. With 4 Baba, one of my favorite 1-drop red cards. I don't know about this one. Like you do want to get as many cards in the drop, but like it takes a while to get the 5 energy, and it takes a while to get off all your other stuff too. So I can kind of see it. Otherwise, yeah, the side looks about right, and Power's Overseeing Time to get back any of your targets, especially the SCR, and then that's pretty much it. There's no answer to Janemba, which I'm very surprised with. I mean, there's only 3 Janemba in the whole event, but very surprised he didn't have an answer for that. Anyway, that is it. Didn't want to take too much time like I do usually, but I will leave it to you guys to talk about more in the comments. Do you believe it is the best format? Do you think this top 16 is the best we've seen, or is there more work? I see people saying ban Toa, but I'm like, that's a ridiculous, stupid thing to say. Just play the game and figure it out. That's all I can really say about that. Yes, she is very strong. I think the deck is strong. She is okay. Shenron Gogeta is probably a little bit better, if anything, or something else to be concerned. But I'm not too big on that stuff as far as that goes. I've talked long enough. I will see you in the next one. Later.